Good morning. I see one person here. We'll see if more people show up. Maybe everyone's busy on Christmas Eve day. Um, so it's Thursday, um, Christmas Eve day. Tomorrow is a holiday, so we won't be having class. And actually, I'm going to take Saturday off also to give myself a little vacation, mini vacation. So that'll be good. So yeah, feel free to um, do one of the other videos if you want, or take a break if you want. Um, I think, as we're coming to the end of the year, this is a great time to spend a little more time maybe on some meditation and kind of wrapping up um, the year for you. I like those things I do at the end of the year, those like year and date. Um, they'll have and different things do them, Facebook and different things, where they'll have your year in pictures or in posts or something like that. And I think those are they're very helpful. They give you kind of a window into um, what happened over the course of the year. Sometimes I think we forget, we don't notice what's happened and how much has changed or not changed in our life over the course of a year. Um, I think we get very caught up in what's happening now, and being able to look back and put things in a little bit of context can be very helpful. So I would recommend taking a little time. I love. I think one of my favorite times of the year is the time between Christmas and New Year's. Good morning, Ruth. Uh, it's it's such a quiet time, right? My husband usually has the week off. Like, he usually takes that week off, and which is great. Of course, this year it's not. I mean, it's nice to have him home, but it's really not that unusual. So, and I have to tell you, this year was rough with Christmas. With him home all the time, I haven't been able to do any of my usual, um, you know, activities, and getting things for him and doing shopping, and it was very, very tricky. Good morning, Susan. And also, I would like to complain. Let me just lodge a complaint here with the universe about companies that ship things in boxes with the big pictures and the names of what's inside all over the whole thing. Uh, why are you doing that? Especially at Christmas, people are trying to get these things for gifts. And my husband insists he didn't see it, and I hope he didn't. We'll find out. If he did, he's covering pretty well, but we'll find out. Um, but that's definitely this time, that time between Christmas and New Year's. The Christmas rush is over, right? You've already bought or not bought and done as much as you can do, so that's done. And I don't do too much for New Year's, so it isn't. There's not a lot of preparation taking place, but there's not much getting done either, right? So it's kind of um, a week of peace, right? There really isn't anything that needs to get accomplished. Usually, people are sporadically in and out of their office, so it's not even like you can reliably get anything done. So I like that. It's like the whole world is on a short little vacation. But this year, quite honestly, it's different, right? Because this whole year is kind kind of felt like that, that we've all kind of been on almost on vacation. There's a, you know, an unreality to some of it. Trying to contact people was so weird. I had a I'm still working on um, contacting somebody from the state. We're trying to apply for some kind of a program to get a rebate on some of the money that we spent to do the roof, um, because we're like in a historic district or something. So there's some program for this. Um, but the first time I called about it months ago, I kept getting disconnected, and it turns out that everyone was working remotely, but for some reason the phone system wasn't reconnecting people. And so then months later, I called again to try to contact the woman, and it was doing the same thing. And she's like, "Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they don't know how to fix it. They don't." So, so I do feel like we're kind of, uh, you know, not everybody's even gotten that good at this working from home thing. Um, I feel like in March and April and even into May and June, it was okay to be kind of an amateur at it. But by now, I feel like we should have kind of gotten to be pros, or at least a little more prepared about it. So I still have that to do, but I'm not going to do that next week because next week is the world is sort of on a little vacation in a way. Um, so yeah, the end of the year is a good time to just reflect a little. Just as we talked about how winter is a season of um, resting and rejuvenation. Um, so if we think of um, spring and summer as sort of a time of growth, right? We are, and if you look at the world and the the natural world, right? That's a lot of what's going on, right? The plants are growing, animals are generally having their families and growing themselves that way. And then, in the fall, we're kind of reaping the harvest of that. And then in the winter, we're all kind of resting. So if you feel like this is a good time for you to rest, to relax and put your feet up a little, I would recommend it. Once Christmas is over, we don't really have too much going on. Um, it's a great time to um, just kick back a little. We used to always try to take sort of a winter vacation, um, which I mean, you may be able to do in a different form now. Not maybe not quite the same, but still, spending a little time away from home is helpful, especially if you are home a lot now. Build some time in to get out of the house, and if you're not walking as much because it's cold and you don't want to be outside, go for a drive. Go out in your car. I know I think a lot of people forget that because they think because there's nowhere to go, that they have to stay home. You don't have to. You can go out and drive to a park and sit in the park. Um, there are lots of places that have things you can look at. People have Christmas lights up for probably in the next week or so. You're going to see still a lot of Christmas lights, and a lot of communities have really nice displays. That's a great thing to do in your car. They're doing a um, Christmas decorating thing in our town, and I have to drive around and look. I still haven't, but I think a lot of people have done a lot. We haven't done much, but we never do, so that's okay. Um, but yeah, take this time to relax and rest. Um, spring's going to be here before we know it. this the sun is coming back, right? We're getting a little more sun, little tiny bit of more sun every day. So we're just going to keep going with that. All right, so let's do some asana, and then we'll do some meditation, and we will work on finishing up December. So I can see my lamps. So I've got these little salt lamps. I love these things. These are, well, let me see if I can plug one in for you. I don't know where I'm going to put them. I haven't decided yet. As with everything in this house, it's all determined on where the electrical outlets are, because they're kind of limited. Oh, that's cute. So, salt lamps, kind of beautiful. I'm going to leave this one plugged in. They're also very nice to purify the air in a space. Let me see if I get this right. The heat from the light bulb heats up the salt, which then releases salt molecules or whatever in the air that bind with dust and pollutants, or so they say. But I think they're just really beautiful, and I'm very attracted to them. I always have been. There is a big gem and sort of metaphysical fair that I used to go to in near Elkton, at like the community college in Elkton. They would have it every year, and there was somebody there selling stones and rocks that had one that was this tall. It was enormous, and I loved it. Every year I thought about it, and I really wanted to buy it, but it was very expensive. So I didn't, but it was beautiful. These are, this size is, a nice size. You can leave them on all the time. They just have teeny tiny little bulbs, and they last a fair amount of time. If the bulb burns out, you can buy lots of spares on Amazon really cheap. I've even replaced this assembly on some. The thing you want to be careful with them is not to get them wet, which means humidity, right? So if you're in an environment that is humid some of the time, you want to keep it on as much as possible. The heat of the light will keep this dried out. If you have it off in a damp environment or humid environment, my brother had one of these that he didn't use for a lot of years, but had it in a place that was very humid, and it just kind of melted, and that was how we replaced the assembly in there. It was really easy. But this is the great time to get them. You can find them. I mean, you can certainly find them online. I try not to buy them online because they're so heavy. It costs a lot to ship them. And also, you're never really sure what you're getting. With these, you can see them, and I get them at like Rite Aid and Walgreens. This time of year, they have them in their sort of gift area where they have like all those gifts that you get people for like Secret Santa and different exchanges people that you don't really know that well. But Walgreens and Rite Aid now have actually really good assortment of the salt lamps, and then also essential oil diffusers. If you've ever been interested in doing using an essential oil diffuser. So what that basically does is it's a little reservoir with water and a heating element, and sometimes a fan, usually a fan, to then blow it. But they're very safe. They turn themselves off when the water evaporates, just like they're basically like a teeny tiny humidifier, right? But in the water reservoir, you could then put some essential oils, and you can diffuse, lavender and orange and different things, to just make your house smell nice and to kind of give you some aromatherapy. Um, the only caution I would have with those is if you have animals, not so much dogs, but I believe cats. There are several types of essential oils that you wouldn't want to use around cats, but you can Google that and you'll find thousands of pages giving you lots of warnings about what not to do. But most of the very common oils are okay to use. And they also have a nice selection of essential oils usually along with these lamps. So you can get everything you need from there. But right now, right, 50% off or so as they're trying to get rid of their Christmas stuff. Because I was in the store yesterday, and everyone's bringing the Valentine's Day stuff out already. So my husband asked if I got more stocking stuff, and I said at the grocery, all they have is like big candy hearts now. So I guess we're officially done with Christmas shopping. Just Valentine's on the way. And we were watching a movie last night, my Love Actually, which is one of my favorite movies. I'm not sure if there's anywhere to stream it right now, but we have a copy of it. But Love Actually, it's a really good movie. It's very heartwarming. It'll make you, think about all of these things. And one of their, the big premises is that love is everywhere. Love is all around us. And that even when we feel like that's the last thing, that, the world is really just, people at war and people angry, people really, it's all just love. There's underneath all of that is love. But it was set in England, and what my son noticed was that it began 5 weeks before Christmas was the date, and everything was decorated for Christmas. They had Christmas, everyone was wearing Christmas hats, and everything was. And I thought, well, that's weird. And we're like, well, that doesn't happen here. 5 weeks before Christmas, you don't see people with all that decoration. But then I realized, well, in England, they don't have Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving is our only bastion against the creep of Christmas decorations. If we didn't have Thanksgiving, people would be putting Christmas decorations up, November 1st. So be grateful we have Thanksgiving to give us a little break in between the decoration holidays. Deep breath in. Drop your chin down. And then move your head around. Big circle. One way and then the other. Back to center. I'm looking at the salt lamp. From what I can see, it looks really nice. It looks really nice on film. It doesn't look quite as beautiful as that in person. It doesn't glow quite as much. It's more pink. It looks quite yellow in that picture, but here, when you see it in person, it's definitely more of just a pink color. Deep breath. Lean forward and move around. One way and the other. Back up to your seat, arms wide. Take a deep breath. Hands together. Inhale, wide. Exhale. Inhale and exhale. Interlace the fingers. Lift your hands high. We're gazing up. And then arms down by your side. Inhale, lift. Lower. Lift. And lower. Once more, lifting up. Right hand down by your side, reach across. And then switch sides. Let's lift the shoulders, roll back. And forward. Left hand on right knee, right arm behind. Sit up tall, take a twist. Back to center and switch. And back to center. Walk the hands out in front. And then hands behind you. Squeeze the shoulders together. And then back up. Tabletop. And let's move through cat-cow for a few sets. Inhales and exhales. And then back on the heels. For your child's pose, and maybe moving side to side a little bit. Back up. Tabletop to downward dog. And then let's move forward to high plank. And lower down. Head turns right, arms by your side. Remember, if you have trouble kind of reaching the head down, just push forward a little with your toes. Sometimes it just gives you that little forward movement. Head to center. We're going to set up for Cobra. So we've got hands about chest height, elbows close, tops of the feet rest on the mat. And then just lifting up your head and chest, lift the hands. And back down. Head turns to the left. And then moving the head back. Let's bring the arms. I've got my earring stuck in my ear. Arms a little wider, and we're going to flip the palms. Tops of the feet rest on the mat. Lifting up head and chest and arms. And then lift the legs. Lower down. Let's bring the hands in front. You can set the chin down or the forehead. Bring the feet a little wider, and then maybe toes in, heels out. And then let's do bow pose. So I'm going to cue half bow on either side. But if you want to do full bow, you could do that. Maybe just do 2 of those if you want. Both hands out in front. We're going to bend that right knee, reach back with the right hand, grabbing a hold or just reaching back towards it. If you can't reach, that's okay. And then we're lifting up and breathe. Release it. Take a break here. Arms and legs extend. Coming back up. Bend the left, reaching back. And then lifting. Release it down. Hands in front again. Maybe this time one forearm on top of the other, and rest the forehead down. And here, just breathe. So we're working on that crocodile breath, where the front of the body is compressed. By resting on the floor, we're allowing the back and the sides to expand. And just take some nice relaxing breaths here. And then we're going to start making our way up. You can come straight to tabletop. If you want to come up to upward dog first, you can do that. And then moving back, tabletop to child's pose. And then we're just going to come around to a seat on the mat. Soles of the feet together. Sitting up nice and tall, leaning forward. So this is a good example of how things are different from day to day. I'm really not able to fold much more than this today. And I know you've seen me fold almost all the way down to the floor. There's nothing particularly wrong. There's, I feel maybe a little stiffer today than some other days, but I don't have an injury or any problems. It's just things feel a little different in my body today. So and I'm okay with that. It just is what it is, right? You just go where you can today. There isn't always an explanation for what's going on with your body. And I think sometimes just accepting is much better. If you feel like every day you have some limitation that's happening to you, you might want to take a look at it. But short term, when you have just stuff, who knows? It's nothing to worry about. And I think a lot of times the less we worry about these things, the less magnified they become, right? They're just something that happens. It isn't something that we worry about. Let's bring the legs out in front. Arms overhead, deep breath. Fold forward. So today, when everything does feel kind of stiff, I've got my hamstrings feel very tight. I've got a little bend, right? You probably can't see it, but I'll turn this way. So I've got a little bend in my knees for my fold. That's fine, you know. I mean, if you always have a little bend in your knees for your fold, that's okay too, right? That allows you to move here a little more, right? If my knees were flat, I would be like here, right? I'm about here, and these are very tight. With a little bend, I can be down here, and my hamstrings feel fine, right? So, you know, if you have chronically tight hamstrings, that may be a solution for you to be able to, right? Because the hamstrings and mobility through the hamstrings is good. It's a good thing to work on. But mobility through the hip flexors is even better, right? So if this is limiting us, let's work on this instead. I'm gonna face front again. So let's do right leg in, left leg extends, fold forward. Back up. And then the other way, holding forward. I'm kind of all over the place today. I see I've gotten too far up. All right, let's point and flex the feet. Move big circles one way and the other. And then let's bend the knees, lowering down. Relaxing on the mat and breathe. Right ankle on top of left knee. Maybe staying here or bringing that left thigh in closer. Rest back down. Let's lower. Back up, switching. And lowering. And then back up. Let's extend both legs. 5-pointed star. And everything back to center. We're going to set for bridge. So we'll do a regular bridge and then a supported bridge. So have your block nearby. Heels back close to the body. Hands by your side. And then lifting up. Breathe. Pardon me, lower back down. Couple of breaths. And then let's find a block. Lifting up. And rest here. You bring the knees in if you feel like it. And then rest. Feet back down. Remove your block. Soles of the feet together. Knees apart. Take a few breaths. Let the lower back relax onto the mat. And then when you're ready, you can move into Shavasana. Letting the body rest. kind of floating here between awareness and sleep. Feeling very content and at peace. So, as we move towards the end of the year, the Christmas holiday is a very interesting one. I love that um, quite a few different religions and faiths have winter holidays, celebrations that fall around this time of year. Um, I think Christmas in particular is a very beautiful um, holiday celebrating the birth of Jesus. Um, whether or not you follow the Christian tradition, um, the teachings of Jesus are very beautiful. This idea that we love our neighbors as ourselves, we do unto others as we would have done to ourselves. Um, this idea that the smallest among us is um, just as important and just as valuable as um, the highest king. Um, and for his time, and maybe for any time, Jesus was kind of a radical, right? He was teaching, to love the poor, to care for the poor in a time when maybe that wasn't what people wanted to hear. I think frequently that's not what people want to hear now either. People want to forget that um, everyone is of value, that there aren't um, tiers of human beings, right? There aren't some human beings that are of worth and others which are not. It is not what we do or how much money we make or even our contribution to the world that gives us value. We have value simply by existing, simply because we are part of that whole. And if some part of the whole is suffering, all of us will. And if you think of the world and the people in it like your body, you may have a part of your body that is hurting, is injured. What do you do about that? Do you ignore it? Do you make fun of it? Do you try to cut it off? Do you um, just accept it and move on and never try to help? Certainly not, right? We would want to fix that. We would want to improve that situation. And it's the same, right? If you don't care for that part of your body that is ailing, eventually it will damage the rest of the body. It will start to spread and take over. Um, it's absolutely the truth. And it's a truth you can extend from human to human, to human to animal, to human to environment. Um, it's all connected. We are all made from the same things. We all come from the same source. And we have no more value one than the other. We may do more. Some people may do more with the time that they're given, but it does not make them um, deserve more, right? We all deserve to live, to be able to exist, um, to survive without fear and without hunger or sadness. Um, well, maybe sadness. That's a given. We'll all have some sadness, but not about those things, right? No one should be afraid that they can't survive. Right? Um, this is a world full of abundance, um, magical and amazing abundance. People that have more than they could use in a million lifetimes. Um, so there is room for all of us. There is no shortage. It's just that we don't care for those people. We think that they don't deserve it. Right? So let's consider radical Jesus's teachings and love our neighbors as ourselves, um, and value everything. Moving a bit, fingers and toes, hands and feet, maybe stretching. And then making your way up to a seat. You can bring hands together. Take a deep breath in and out. Thank you for taking time today for some yoga and for sharing it with me here. I hope you have a really lovely Christmas Eve and Christmas holiday. Namaste. Thank you. Okay, so no class tomorrow, no class Saturday. So then I will be back on Monday. Um, I just wanted to let you know that. But I am going to do 5 minutes of meditation because this is 5 more minutes before the storm of I got to wrap a lot of presents and I got to do some stuff. I still have to go to the bakery. I'm going to go to the bakery in a little while. So I don't know. And I have to think about what I'm making for dinner because I thought we were going to get takeout, right? We've gotten takeout from DoorDash, from a lot of our restaurants over the past year that we used to go to. But of course, everybody's closed now. So we might be getting dinner from Wawa. I don't know. Or I might make something. We'll see. Um, all right. So sitting comfortably, relaxed breath, keeping that relaxed frame of mind. Peaceful awareness, keeping the focus within. Breathe. Okay, great. Done with some meditation. So hopefully you feel peaceful and relaxed and ready for your Christmas holiday. I will be back on Monday, and I hope you have a really good time. I hope you get to see your family a little, even if it's just on Zoom or drive by in a car. You know, my husband and his friend have lunch together where they pull their cars up like policemen do with the driver's windows facing, and they go to a drive-through and then park that way. So that's a great way to spend a little time with somebody if you don't want to be in their proximity, but you want to be able to see them and talk with them. You know, we got to come up with some clever ways to do things, but we can still enjoy company with our friends and relatives. So, all right. Yeah, thank you, Susan. And I'll see you guys Monday.